Hey guys, so today's video is going to be another positivity video, and I'm going to talk about exercise versus depression. Now, when you're depressed, the last thing you want to do is exercise, and I totally understand that, but you have to realize that exercise really does help fight things like depression and anxiety, and exercise can really help with a lot of different things: high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, but it can also help improve your mood and help with things like depression, anxiety, panic attacks. There are different things that you should know about exercise versus depression, so let's jump into them. So the first thing is, how does exercise really help depression? And that's a good question. Well, number one, it releases feel-good chemicals in the brain. And a lot of times we don't really know what exactly feel-good chemicals are. So these are neurotransmitters and also endorphins. And those two chemicals in the brain, when you produce more of them, they actually pump up your mood and they make you feel happy and they make you feel better. Exercise also helps reduce the immune system chemicals that actually help worsen depression. So in turn, it fights off these chemicals that make you feel more sad, more depressed. Lastly, it increases your body temperature, which in turn has a calming effect on you. So there are a lot of different benefits to exercise, and some of them are emotional benefits. Now, what are these emotional benefits? The first one is you gain confidence, and this one's pretty easy to realize because when you're exercising, you feel good about yourself, you tend to look better, you just all around feel better internally, and you gain confidence, and so you feel better externally as well. The second emotional benefit is it can really help take your mind off of things. And when you're depressed and you're anxious about things, sometimes that's really the only thing that you focus on. Another one is you have more social interaction, and this one really all depends on what you do, because let's say you decide to get a gym membership and you go to the gym. Well, there are people at the gym, so most likely you're going to have interactions with those people, and maybe you'll make new friends there, maybe you'll meet someone who you can date there. The most important thing to remember is it helps you cope in a healthy way, and this is true for a lot of adults. I mean, when you have trouble, a lot of times you'll see people go to the local bar and they'll have drinks to make them feel better, when in turn alcohol and things like that, those are depressants, so they actually bring your mood even further down. Okay, so what kind of exercise is needed and what kind of exercise is best for all of us? Well, honestly, the good news is any kind of exercise you can think of is great. I mean, you can go to the gym, you can do the running and the sprinting and the lifting weights, that's all good, but that's really not for a lot of people. So even if it means taking a walk around the block, walking your dog more, taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator at work or at school, these little things add up throughout the day, and even though they don't seem like you're doing exercise, you really are. So how much should you exercise? Well, that all depends on your preference and your abilities to exercise, because when you go to the gym, a lot of people think that they have to stay there for an hour to an hour and a half to really get a good workout, but it depends on what you're doing, because if you're doing extreme vigorous workouts like running or sprinting or things like that, you really only need 10 to 15 minutes of something vigorous. So the big question is, how do I stay motivated? And this is a hard one for everyone, because sometimes exercise sucks, we don't want to do it, it's just like the last thing on our mind. So I'm going to give you some advice and ideas on how to stay motivated when you're exercising. The first one is to enjoy what you're doing. If you know that you're not a gym person, don't sign up for a gym membership, because most likely you're not going to ever go and you're going to regret going. Another thing is to address barriers that you might have. So think about what you're doing. If you want to do a gym membership, do you really have the money or the means to do a gym membership? maybe you don't. So you want to look for exercise that might be available free to you, like walking around the block or jogging in the park or something like that. You want to also set reasonable goals. And this is important because you don't want to automatically start exercising and say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to exercise and then the day after my depression is going to be gone, because that's not going to happen. Your body is going to get used to it. You're going to adjust. And remember, you're lacking these certain feel-good chemicals when you're depressed and when you're anxious. So your body is overproducing them when you're exercising to kind of compensate. So it has to get used to rebuilding those chemicals back in your system on a regular and routine basis by itself. Last thing is, you want to talk to either your doctor or your parents and just make sure that the right exercise that you pick is the right one for you. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to, become a hurdleist and know that you can't jump and you push yourself too far and then you end up injuring yourself. Alright guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope it was useful to someone, and I hope you try to incorporate exercise into your routine if you do suffer from some type of depression or some type of anxiety, because I honestly use this myself in my everyday life. New Year's Day, I started one of those resolutions where I'm gonna work out more. And it wasn't because I wanted to look better, it was because I wanted to feel better internally. And I noticed that a couple years ago when I was working out on a routine basis, 5 days a week, I always felt happy and I felt better about myself just internally. So if there's any other positivity videos or topics you'd like me to do, just let me know in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.